Hi all, in this video I will try to talk about Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha effects. I just opened the app that I am showing in the mobile screen, that is the Drik Panchang app, just to show you some example horoscopes at the end of this video. I will try to discuss those videos, those example horoscopes also. So what is Ketu? Generally, Ketu Mahadasha is all about the detachment, the spirituality. That is the Ketu Mahadasha, right? You generally you may have some differences with your family members, or you may not be comfortable with them, or you may feel like a bit detached from your family members, and loneliness is another area of interest in your Ketu Mahadasha, and spirituality. You may go through a lot of spiritual things, or even occult sciences like astrology or any other occult practices you try to do. And the advantage of Ketu Mahadasha is mainly, see, previously you might be trying to do a lot of religious things, lot of stuff, but you were not able to do it because of not knowing them better or whatever. But in the Ketu Mahadasha, you automatically do all of them. You are going to be exposed to all the religious stuff, and you find one day in your practice you will become very much comfortable with the religious practices also. You feel they are very simple, because now in the Ketu Mahadasha you are completely in the spiritual plane. When a person is in spiritual plane, then that particular person can feel the religious practices are very simple, the religious rituals or whatever. So you also have that kind of dare, that kind of initiation you can easily do in the Ketu Mahadasha period, right? So religious rituals will become very simple for you, right? You can easily do them. That is the one advantage you will get. Another one is, of course, the disadvantage is always the loneliness or detachment from the family, right? So all these things are the common qualities of Ketu Mahadasha. And one more thing is, Ketu is a shadow planet. So if you want to know the real behavior of your Ketu, you need to understand it contributes to actually four things you need to say. It's something like, what is the nature of the sign your Ketu is placed in, and also what is the planet your Ketu is in conjunction with. Of course, if Ketu is in conjunction with moon or sun, it may not be very good, because moon and sun are the bitter enemies of Ketu or Rahu, right? So that's going to give you mental pain for sure. And Ketu acts like the planet that is aspecting it. If something like, let us say, Jupiter is aspecting your Ketu, so Ketu tries to behave like Jupiter, because it is a shadow planet. Ketu is a shadow planet, right? So Ketu tries to behave like Jupiter to an extent, so that also contributes to Ketu's behavior. And another one is the sign lord. Let us say your Ketu is in Virgo, per suppose, and so your Ketu will act like Mercury in its Mahadasha, right? It's not like completely it will act like Mercury. So Mercury kind of qualities are also contributed here, right? Because your Ketu is in Virgo. Let us say your Ketu is in Taurus, then automatically your Ketu tries to behave like Venus. So if Venus dignity is very good, let us say you are running Ketu Mahadasha, your Ketu is in Libra, for suppose, and now your Venus is having very good dignity in the horoscope, then obviously you will get abundance, you will get vehicles, you will get buildings and all the stuff, because Venus represents all this stuff, celebrations at home, buildings, vehicles. Venus is also food. You may experience very good food in your life. So based on the sign lord's dignity also, you can decide the behavior of Ketu. So Ketu contributes to four things, right? Ketu's behavior, four things are actually contributing to Ketu's behavior. The first thing is in which sign Ketu is placed. Let us say Ketu is in Virgo. Virgo energy is what? Virgo energy is always trying to be perfect. Virgos are perfectionists basically. Virgo energy is a perfectionist energy, right? So this kind of Ketu tries to make you think like a perfectionist, right? That is the nature of the sign. Let us say Ketu is in something like in Libra. Libra is a sign of communication. It's a communication in the sense communicating with others, thinking about others, understanding others, right? So that is the nature of this sign. Business skills, marketing skills, right? That is all the Libra energy contributes to. Talkative, more talkative. Libra energy contributes to more talkativeness. So this kind of Ketu contributes to this kind of behavior because Ketu is in Libra, so it is a shadow planet. Ketu is a shadow, right? So it has to behave like Libra energy. Now another thing is here the sign lord of Ketu is Venus. So if Venus dignity is very good in your chart, so during Ketu Mahadasha you will get a lot of abundance because Ketu is in Libra. So first thing is Ketu behaves like it takes the energy of the sign it is placed in, and then it acts like the planet it is in conjunction with. As a Ketu is in conjunction with Jupiter, then automatically Ketu here gives you more religious power to you, thinking more religiously automatically, right? But of course, when Ketu is in conjunction with Sun or Moon, it may not be very auspicious because Sun and Moon are bitter enemies of Ketu, as we discussed. Now, Ketu, some other planet is aspecting Ketu. Let us say Mars is aspecting Ketu, right? So then Ketu tries to behave like Mars, and it is a bit uncomfortable situation because Mars, of course, it contributes to some kind of passionate energy, also aggressiveness, and Ketu is headless, so a bit directionless also. So automatically when aggressiveness is contributed to Ketu, it may lead to some kind of dangerous or criminal kind of thinking, criminal kind of activities also, right? So this may not be very good here. And now Ketu also behaves like the sign lord also. Let's say Ketu is in Aries, so Ketu tries to behave like Mars. So these are the four things that generally contribute to Ketu's behavior. But as a fundamentalist, if you understand a fundamental nature of Ketu by default, it is spiritual. It promotes detachment. It always tells you that nothing is permanent. It always tries to teach you that be detached from your loved ones, because even the relationship that you have with your loved ones is also very much temporary. It is also not a real one, right? Every relationship is fake. That is the expression Ketu tries to give you. So as a part of this particular whole process, Ketu will try to make you detached from all your members, from all your family members, or at least you will try to understand about the real colors of your loved ones or real colors of your friends or whatever, loved ones, everybody, right? Then you will come to know that nothing is permanent and every relationship is fake. So this kind of ideology Ketu has, right? So just imagine, see, Ketu is a part that is left when during the Samudra Manthan, when the Swarabhanu, the Asura Swarabhanu's head was cut by Lord Vishnu, the head part became Rahu and the remaining part became Ketu. So what kind of energy you can expect from the remaining part, right? The directionless part, the headless part. So it always tries to promote spirituality only. But it is very powerful. The spirituality it promotes is very powerful. It will make you understand the real world. That is the Ketu Mahadasha is all about. And now if you come to the Rahu Antardasha, so Rahu is what? Rahu is always about materialism. It's always about, it's about cheating, it's about secretive in nature, because even you can understand the Swarabhanu, the Asura, during this particular Samudra Manthan story. Rahu means that Swarabhanu was actually a bit cheating. It exhibited cheating behavior because it secretly joined the queue of Devatas, right? Secretly joined the queue of gods to get that nectar, right? So automatically you can understand that Rahu has this kind of behavior, cheating behavior, having more. And why this particular Asura Swarabhanu joined the queue of gods? Because he was very much attracted to the materialism. He wanted to be alive throughout his life. That kind of material energy means the magnetism towards material energy, right? So that's why that Rahu is something like it's an unlimited desire towards materialism. It's about magnetism towards opposite sex also. It's about cheating. It's about being secretive in nature, right? And so Rahu is that kind of, it exhibits that kind of behavior. So basically, when you have the Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha, you please understand always Ketu and Rahu, they are separated by 7 houses. So Rahu always sits 180 degrees apart from Ketu. So the 7th relationship is activated here. The 7th energy is activated. It tells you, the 7th energy always explains you about others. 7th one is others. We see, first one is you always, and 7, the number 7 is something, it's always about others, right? So during Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha, what happens? The 7 energy is going to be activated. The 7 relationship means you will come to know more about others. Previously you would be having some kind of understanding about the society, about others and how others behave. But during Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha, you will clearly understand the society. You will clearly understand about others. And if you are into business, then you will understand your business more and more and more. Because now in this particular period, you will come to know about your clients more, your customers more, what your customers really expecting from you, right? So this kind of thing, even if you're not doing business, in the relationships or in the outside world, you will understand what others are expecting from you. Whomever you are dealing with in your daily life or in your office work or wherever you are seeing people, you can understand better about the people. That is about the 7th relationship activation, the 7th energy activation during Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha. Of course, they are going to give the qualities, the kind of things that they are related to. Let us say if Ketu is in 10th house and Rahu is in 4th house, then automatically they are going to activate the 10th house and 4th house. And even more, they are going to activate, let us say Ketu is in Virgo and your Rahu is automatically in Pisces. So it tries to behave like Ketu tries to behave like Mercury, and Rahu behaves like Jupiter there, right, to an extent. And even more, if your Rahu is in conjunction with Mars, so your Rahu behaves like Mars also to an extent. Mars in the sense, automatically here, let's take 10th house is Virgo and 4th house is Pisces. So Mars being the 5th lord, it exhibits some behavior related to 5th house also, your Rahu, because Rahu is in conjunction with Mars, right? So Rahu behaves like Jupiter, Rahu behaves like Mars to an extent, like 5th lord, right? So it tries to give you Rahu during Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha. It will make you, having a lot of magnetism towards opposite sex also, because here Rahu is dealing with the 5th lord. 5th lord is always about, 5th house is always about, or the 5th lord is always about the affairs, the romanticness, and also it's also about sports, it's about creativity. You will become even more creative, right? So that's the main thing here. Let's try to understand some of the horoscopes here. So let me make something, let me take some 2005 and some September or something. And here, if you check, your Ketu is in here in the horoscope. Ketu is in the 12th house. Please do watch this video in the full screen mode so that you can see this particular horoscope completely. So Ketu is in the 12th house and Rahu is in the 6th house here. And now Ketu here, it is in conjunction with Venus and Jupiter. So this particular Ketu, as it is in conjunction with Venus and Jupiter, so it acts like Venus and Jupiter here during its Mahadasha. So Venus and Jupiter, when you combine these two qualities, then automatically a writer comes out, a novel writer, novels writing and poetry writing, any kind of writing skills, any kind of poetic heart, right? The writing heart that comes out. So during Ketu Mahadasha, this particular guy will try to write more and more about, he will write more writings, more novel writings, those things, those story writings, whatever, right? That writing skills will come out, the poetry will come out. And as Ketu is also involved here, you can also observe to an extent spirituality is also involved in the writings, right? Now, so Ketu behaves like the planet that it is in conjunction with. So here Venus and Jupiter are mixed, so writing skills are coming out, the creative skills are coming out here, and also some kind of abundance is coming out, because Venus and Jupiter are fundamentally, they are very naturally, they are the benefics. Of course, if you check with respect to ascendant, they can become functionally malefic or functionally benefic. That is a different idea. But if you see the natural, there are two things: natural malefic, functional malefic. Natural benefic, functional benefic, right? So Venus and Jupiter are naturally, they are benefic, right? Functionally, if you observe for Libra ascendant here, the ascendant is Libra, but Libra ascendant, of course, Venus is the ascendant lord, so it is benefic, and Jupiter is the third lord, so it is also going to give some beneficial skills only, the communication or the documentation related skills, or it's a Parakrama Sthana, third house is generally, so it gives you kind of boldness, and it is good for marketing skills, commissioning skills, brokerage. Third house is your subconscious mind, your focus, your concentration. So this is all related to here third house. So as Jupiter is involved here, it's a good thing only, right? It's a good thing only. But as a whole, as this particular Jupiter is coming into 12th house, it a bit becomes weaker, because 12th house, whenever a particular planet is coming to the 12th house, it becomes weaker. And this particular Libra, the ascendant lord, is also coming into 12th house, so the person has to take care of his ascendant lord is also becoming weaker, so he has to take care of his health, his attitude, his nature also. That is the general trend here. So if you ask only about the Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha here, so Ketu is in the 12th house. Ketu is basically the moksha karaka. It's completely the spirituality, the liberation, that stuff. So here, a completely involved house is 12th house. So automatically during Ketu Mahadasha, as the person is going through the Ketu Mahadasha and it is in the 12th house, so the person would become even more spiritual, more and more spiritual, because 12th house is always about spirituality and also about seclusion. As there are more 12th house energies here, generally you can expect the person would love to be alone, would love that kind of seclusion, the loneliness. The person loves loneliness here. So automatically 12th house is activated during Ketu Mahadasha. So you can expect during Ketu Mahadasha the person would be experiencing a lot of loneliness, writing some stories, doing occult practices, and also you can experience, the person can experience, right, more and more spirituality and all this stuff. Now Ketu behaves like the sign also. Here Virgo sign is more like service oriented. They try to do a lot of service, they work a lot. Virgo energy promotes, trying to do household activities. They love to do daily routine more, because Virgo is the natural 6th house in the zodiac, in the natural Kalapurush Kundali. The first house is Aries, whereas the 6th house is Virgo. Virgo is all about doing the daily routines, doing cooking, doing household activities. They're very much enjoying in doing the cooking and household activities and performing the daily routines, waking up and then doing the daily activities. They are very much happy with this kind of behavior compared to any other. So this is a kind of service orientedness also, because 6th house is the, means in the natural Kalapurush Kundali, Virgo sign represents the 6th house energies. It's like service orientedness, means they try to cook food and they try to distribute, right? That is the Virgo energy. So automatically, as this Ketu is activated, Ketu behaves like, Ketu is more service oriented also here. Ketu gives you this kind of performing the daily activities, that kind of energy. And Venus and Jupiter are involved here, so the person would become more and more creative. And 12th house is all about imagination, so the person would be more imaginative, writing more and more stories, more and more poetry. You can expect practicing more and more spirituality. And if you observe the behavior even more, if any planet is watching this particular 12th house here, Saturn is watching it, the 12th house. So automatically Ketu behaves like the Saturn. What kind of Saturn is this? Saturn is here, Saturn generally, the karma karaka, is it promotes to do work, promotes to do more and more work, and try to get new skills. So Saturn in the 10th house is watching it. So automatically Ketu tries to improve the skills of this particular person also during its Mahadasha, right? Now, so a planet it is in conjunction with, the nature of the sign, and also the planet watching it we observed. And another one is, who is the lord of this particular sign? Mercury. Where is Mercury here? Mercury is actually sitting in the 11th house. So Ketu also gives some kind of gains during its Mahadasha, because Mercury is sitting here, right? Mercury is activated here. This Mercury is the 12th lord and sitting in the 11th house. So the person would be doing, so 12th house lord is related to, the liberation, the spirituality, and all the stuff, the loneliness, promoting all the stuff, right? So all the 12th house energies. So more 12th house energies are activated here, as Mercury is also becoming the lord of this one and sitting in the 11th house. Through this kind of behavior, through this kind of becoming loneliness, or writing poetry, or being into occult sciences, or being into astrology, or thinking about the profession more and more and working on that profession more and more, adding new skills. So this person is going to gain also something. He is going to get money, all the money that he wants from the expenditure, for the expenditure he has, right? So this is all about his Ketu Mahadasha. And during this period, Rahu is activated. What is Rahu here? Rahu is in the 6th house. What is 6th house? 6th house is all about service oriented nature, daily routines energy. And 6th house gives you the first job that you want to do in your life. Sixth house is about enemies, debts and diseases. Sixth house is disputes, litigation, right? So sixth house is about discipline. So automatically all these things are activated during Rahu Antardasha. The disputes, if the disputes related energy or the litigation, enemies, all this stuff. And if the person does not have a job, he's going to get a job. And if the person is not very disciplined, he's going to learn discipline also. He's going to be very much disciplined. He can go to gym. He can take he will try to focus more and more on his health, obviously. And even more, as Rahu is involved here, he may find some kind of uncomfortable situation in trying to repay his loan, but again he's going to get the support from Ketu here. So automatically, as 12th house is related to expenditure, so there is a kind of pain takingness is observed clearly here. 12th house and 6th house are involved here. So you can clearly understand there would be some kind of painful situation in the Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Antardasha for this particular guy, right? And always you have 7th relationship here between Ketu and Rahu, if you observe, if you count the number of houses, right? So in this whole process, means in repaying the loans, or in taking care of the health, or in even 12th house is related to hospitalization and 6th house is related to disease. So if the person is going to hospital every day, or if he is hospitalized for some duration, even in that particular process he will try to understand about the people more and more and more. His observation skills will come out. He will try to understand the people more. Or if he is only this Jupiter and Venus are very powerful, so automatically the person would write a lot of stories, or read a lot of poetry, or read a lot of novels or whatever. So through that his communication, because Jupiter and Venus, when they are involved, the communication aspect also comes into the picture. So that is going to be increased more and more. So during this process he is going to understand about the world better. So some people, they understand the world better just by reading books, also by reading some novels, by reading some kind of poetry. So this also can happen to this particular person. And loneliness is ensured here, very much ensured, because the 12th house Ketu promotes loneliness, promotes spirituality. Through spirituality, through spiritual writings, through spiritual books reading, also this person can understand better about others, better about even about the human body, the spirituality, even the Kundalini energy. This kind of practices, spiritual practices, you can observe here, right? So that is about this Ketu Rahu in this particular horoscope. Let's take some other horoscope. So here Ketu is in the 8th house and Rahu is in the 2nd house. So what happens during this particular time? So Ketu Mahadasha, so Ketu acts like the sign, right? Here the sign is Capricorn. So what is Capricorn? Capricorn energy is very much practical oriented energy. It doesn't believe in any kind of imagination. It's completely practical, right? It's completely action oriented, because Capricorn is the natural 10th sign in the Kalapurush Kundalini. So action oriented, karma oriented, always wants to do some work. This energy only believes in the statement that only through work we can gain anything. Without doing work we cannot get anything. And if you want to gain something in your life, you have to do work. That is the main statement of Capricorn. It's an earthly sign, so it always believes, it's a mobile sign also, right? So it will try to take some decisions and work on those decisions, drive the things, do more and more karma. It doesn't want to talk much also. It wants to do lot of work. Through work only anything is possible. That is the statement this Capricorn energy believes in. So Ketu here as an opposite thing, instead of uh, leaving from doing the work, Ketu is a kind of spiritual energy, so it may not promote. So generally Ketu says, instead of doing work, be spiritual, right? Be spiritual, and it promotes loneliness also. But here this Ketu is a kind of opposite, there's a frictional environment here, because Ketu's behavior is different and Capricorn's behavior is something different, because Capricorn is action oriented. It doesn't believe in imagination. It doesn't believe in with religious practices we can achieve something, or with imagination we can achieve something. These kind of statements Capricorn energy doesn't believe at all. It always tries to do some work, action oriented. But Ketu is something like, be spiritual. Whatever karma you're doing, of course this is all, one day it will become fake. All the relationships are fake. Be spiritual. Try to understand the real nature of this world. Try to understand the real behavior of the people around you. That is the Ketu's statement. Capricorn's statement is a bit different, but here Ketu has to behave like the Capricorn's energy. So there is a kind of opposite energies involved here, so you can expect some kind of frictional environment. Even more, it is in the 8th house. 8th house is always about pressure givingness, stress givingness, right? It's about hurdles and the challenges that you face in your life is always the 8th house, the problems. And 8th house is always about research also. It's about giving some money. This 8th house is about free money also, the easy money, something like dowry, something like bribe. 8th house is about ancestral property. Ancestral property also you can get easily, means without doing work you get ancestral property. So any kind of money that you get without doing much work is always into the 8th house. 8th house is like research. 8th house is engineering energy. 8th house occult sciences. It's about sex also to an extent, the sexual energy, the hidden energy, because its natural 8th sign in the Kalapurush Kundali is Scorpio. It's always about the hidden things. Even 8th house represents the hidden parts, means the private parts of your body, right? So Ketu is present here, so automatically this Ketu will try to take that form, but fundamentally naturally Ketu is not to that. Ketu doesn't behave like Capricorn's energy. Ketu doesn't behave like the 8th house energy, but it has to, but that kind of the spiritual practices, those are all coming into the play here for sure, because 8th house is about astrology and occult sciences also. So trouble giving nature also, this Ketu is going to give the troubles, is going to give some kind of troubles automatically, right? So here Ketu tries to behave like secretive, and Ketu also behaves like an addiction giving energy, because 8th house is also like to give addiction energy. 8th house is about addiction also. So this Ketu is not so good until and unless the person is doing some kind of research, then it is fine. The person would be secluded, he would experience the loneliness and he would do the research continuously, that is fine. But if the person is involved more and more into the materialistic things, then this person is going to experience a lot of troubles, right? Because there is a frictional environment also between this Ketu and the practical energy or the material energy here. So through this particular material world, the person is going to experience lot of problems, right? Pressure givingness is the main thing that this particular Ketu Mahadasha is going to give to the person. Hurdles, problems, right, are ensured for this particular Ketu and the Ketu Mahadasha. In Capricorn, it is not so comfortable for sure. And if you check if it is any planet is in conjunction with this Ketu, no. And if any planet is aspecting this Ketu, then you can clearly see Saturn is aspecting this Ketu here. In the 11th house Saturn is sitting. This Saturn is, what is this Saturn here? This Saturn is a kind of, it's a ninth lord, Aquarius lord, so it is a beneficial one. So even though the person is going to experience a lot of pain, a lot of problems, a lot of sorrows, troubles in his Mahadasha, but ultimately some luck is always ensured. Ultimately some luck is always ensured because Saturn is watching this Ketu, and this Saturn is a very good Saturn, but this Saturn is also in conjunction with almost the other five planets it is in conjunction with, but still this Saturn is going to promote some kind of luck to all the challenges and the troubles a person is experiencing. Better this person is a research oriented person. If the person is doing research, then ultimately he is going to get a lot of success in the research. Maybe he will try to invent something great that human beings would have never seen in their whole total history of their times, right? So this person, better he is a research oriented person. I will suggest this person to go into research only. If this person is into research, he is definitely going to become one of the famous scientists of this particular world for sure, because ultimately this Saturn is watching this Ketu. And just imagine the kind of invention the person is going to bring to this earth. That's exceptional, you can say, exceptional energy, because this 6th planet conjunction is also present here. So that is going to give, and the planets that are involved also, Jupiter, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mercury. Just imagine the kind of innovative energy. It's a pure fresh energy. I'm sure this person is going to become a scientist who actually invents something that this particular whole world never have seen so far. That is the energy shown here, and during Ketu Mahadasha only it is going to happen for this particular person. And this Rahu is about, here it's about the 2nd house, into the family house, the wealth, the bank balance, and also the speech, right? So it is going to activate that. Maybe during Ketu Mahadasha the person would invent something great, and thereby the person is going to talk about that, talk more about that, right? So he will try to, and of course in this whole process of research and all the stuff, he will also understand about others, because here the 7th picture is always coming here, right? So maybe the person would try to invent something great, and in this whole process he would also understand the world, the outer world. First is you, the 1st house is you always. The 7th relationship is always about outer world, others. So it is clearly showing this Ketu Mahadasha Rahu Antardasha, he is going to invent something great about the outer world, about the material energy, and that innovation can be something magnificent, something phenomenal, something extraordinary only, you can say, and no words to explain all the stuff. Obviously the 6th planet conjunction is going to give a new energy. It's completely fresh energy here, right? So that is about the analysis. So thanks for watching this video.